BTG Nation, we're back. And again, we got some exciting news from our friends over at Manscaped. They've just launched their 4th generation performance package that we absolutely love. And yes, you heard that right. It's the ultimate package that includes the Lawnmower 4.0. So Manscaped is the leaders in male grooming. Like there's nobody else that even comes close. And they've done it again to make sure your grooming game is top notch. So join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the Performance Package 4.0 by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code BTG Nation. Now, this is important for all you young cats out there, and maybe even some of you older guys who didn't have an old head like we do to help bridge the gap and teach you how to manage your body and grooming. You got to make sure you're trimming, you're taking care of yourself, right? Not only does it just, open the door for new things, but your confidence level grows, for obvious reasons, sometimes it's about the visibility of things. And when you make sure you're taking care of your stuff, I've been doing it since, high school and haven't stopped, So you guys, my life is pretty nice, outside of here. So if you want your confidence to go up, make sure you're handling your business and taking care of what you can take care of below the waist, on the chest, all that good stuff. That Performance Package 4.0, King.
Oh, man, it was worth the wait.
Man.
Worth the wait. We've been talking about this for years. You talk about you being in high school and starting to recognize these certain situations that a man needs to take care of. That's because you were with the team.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you ain't right with the team,
they're going to let you know.
Somebody needs to let you know. We talk about locker room justice. You know what I'm saying? There's locker room recognition, too.
Absolutely.
Because, one person represents the team.
Tell them.
So we're going to make sure that everybody's straight. We have the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, weed whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer. For you older guys such as myself, that's so important because, listen, man, I'm sitting there, I'm talking, whatever, but my nose hairs are blowing in the wind. I'm like, yo, what is going on with this? So now I got something to take care of that. Got the crop preserver, the ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies.
Listen. That right there is clutch. That travel bag to bring it in.
Oh, no doubt.
That's an extra gift.
No
you know
doubt.
what I'm saying? So, yes, you thought that was good. You thought, it's on its 4th generation.
Right.
So we thought number 3 was good, but again, they continue to push it up. The weed whacker itself is waterproof. Right, it can get 360-degree rotator for the dual blade system, so it can get all around there. And for you older guys that like to be in the younger crowd, we can tell the difference when you got the ear hair.
Oh, no doubt.
You gotta get that together so that it's all there for and then the liquid formulations, as we talked about, that's heavy, especially for us athletes. You gotta make sure it's solid down there because you never know where you gotta go afterwards, and you gotta make sure you're not making an announcement in the room when you walk in with your body odor.
Right.
So get into that. I think they threw in some free gifts too, King.
Oh yeah, it was 2 free gifts, with the performance package, boxers and the Shed travel bag. The boxers, of course, that's something that every man needs and should have, and you should basically, you shouldn't be recycling those.
No.
You should be getting new ones every, periodically through the year.
Yes.
But the travel bag is important.
Yes.
Because this is something that, a lot of people tend to forget sometimes when they're getting ready to travel. And they need a little bag. Just make sure you put all your little personal items in there.
Yeah, not the Ziploc bag. Be a man with a little class, a little style. And I'm telling you, the Manscaped bag is good brown leather, black trim. It's perfect. So go get yours today. Coach and I, we've been using ours. It's great. We love it. I think my wife can attest that she's happy that I got it together. So BTG Nation, get 20% off and free shipping with the code BTG Nation at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, free shipping with the code BTG Nation at manscaped.com. Your balls have been through enough this past year, as we all have. Treat them with the best tools for the job. Shout out to Manscaped. And yes, in the MENA region, that includes you. Worldwide delivery. So as always, keep it real, keep it simple, and keep going. But let's get back to that donut piece, though, King. Let me tell you. Right. And you know how we had Tony in the gym and Tony was talking about when he gets to America, he just can't wait to try Taco Bell.
Tony gonna blow up.
Listen, Tony gonna blow up and blow the bathroom up. Like, you don't know, I'm good. But I'm like, yo, you talking about Taco Bell? Like, you don't have no clue what that thing really like. Like, that's different. It ain't what you think it is. I'm trying to think of what he's seen a Taco Bell commercial.
I don't know either. I mean, but
yeah. But that goes into what people see the Western stuff and they're like, yo, dope. So my lovely wife, who I love dearly, you know, she we have moments when donuts are the thing, right?
I see.
But you know, for us, Krispy Kreme reigns supreme.
Right.
It ain't even close. Like the other people, Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, I'll slow up and say, I'll say this. This is a shout out to Northern Virginia.
Yes.
The Shoppers Donuts, not every location, but the locations that are closest to the hood. Listen, those donuts are special.
Listen, have you heard the story? I remember I told the story on here about how he had the damn jumbo Shoppers donut one day when we might have been going to a workout while I was still in high school. He had the jumbo joint, big, 6 of them big, with an orange juice, right? From Shoppers, and his Bluetooth in. I hadn't ate yet. It was like 6:30, 7:30 in the morning. I'm about to go play. And he just crushing them. And he give me an oatmeal bar. I'm like, man, this motherfucker is crazy.
You're a player.
He was crushing them.
I'm setting an example.
So when he talk about them Shopper donuts, he is a little donut connoisseur.
Listen, man.
But we got a teacher. So we got the one donut place here that we like with the small ones, the dough.
Yep. Right? In Al Barsha.
Yeah, it's a couple of the dough. DOH. That's a free ad for y'all. Fire donuts. All right, fire donuts. But we in the mall, you know what I'm saying? And she been saying for 2 weeks she want munchkin, right? Like little donut holes. I'm like, yo, that's some trash. You don't want the Dunkin' Donuts for no damn. No, like Krispy Kreme, right? And if you do them at the crib, maybe Hostess, right? Maybe. But Krispy Kreme is it. Not even close. And ask her what flavor she want.
What she get?
She asked for the regular one, not the glazed, but just the regular donut hole with nothing. Just like
from Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah, just
trash.
Nothing. Trash. Like
trash.
Come on, man.
Back at the crib, people use Dunkin' Donuts only for coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee number one. Some people take the donuts and just dip them in the coffee because they're trash.
Only way you can eat them.
And then people use Dunkin' Donuts for like the bagels.
Or the hash browns too.
The burnt bagels with the cream cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Fire.
Yeah. Yeah. See, or teachers and stuff. But and back home I like the turkey sausage, egg and cheese croissant they got.
At some Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, yeah, I'm living at the one in Fox Chase.
Okay.
Yeah. And they got the good little things. But the hash browns, I like the seasoned hash browns. But again, I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts for a sandwich.
yeah. You're not going for donuts.
No, Krispy Kreme.
Donuts is Krispy Kreme, Duck Donuts.
Yeah, which we got here.
And Shoppers.
And some round-the-way ones, maybe.
Shoppers.
Some little ones, but yeah.
Safeway every blue moon. Depends where you are.
Yeah.
I know this. I'm tripping. Walmart in D.C. Yes, there's 3 Walmarts in D.C. One on Georgia Ave.
They got donuts?
Yes, sir. Listen. There's one on Georgia Ave. The donuts are like, the bakery's it's shaky. There's one on near Capitol Hill.
Uh-huh.
Nah, you don't want that. But the one in Northeast, off of by Michigan Avenue, fire. Fire. Listen, I'm telling you, anybody that knows that the Northeast Walmart in Washington D.C. is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So you just made me think, sleeper, 7-Eleven. All right?
Garbage.
Now, listen, 7-Eleven donut, but it's about the timing. Right? 7-Eleven donuts at the right time, when you catch them right when they made that shift at like 6 a.m. depending on where you at, fire. And 7-Eleven got the microwave right in there too. Yeah. 7-Eleven
if you got to mic them, it's garbage. This Walmart right here, listen, this is one where not only are they fire, they're $1 each.
That's why they fire. There you go.
Fire. I'm telling you.
We need to find the right donut places around here too. That's not bad.
King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. Ball is life, and that's a fact. And a baller's life, about that exact. King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. There's a time to score and a time to assist. Ain't no I in team, let the winning commence. From generation to generation, game don't stop. The new and old school got the game on lock. It's all legendary, it's all necessary. We all been all-stars before February. And after that, King and Yates, after racks. But really trying to get some wins, not just padding stats. Two basketball lovers through happenstance. Built a bond that led to greatness that advanced.
Here we go. Can we hear me loud and clear? Check 1, 2, 3.
Yup.
Yeah, we all in there. Nice. Episode 14, BTG Nation. You back with the fellas, the OG, triple OG, JK, Julian King. And then I'm here.
What does triple OG mean?
You know what I'm saying? A lot of experience. The triple come in with experience. You know,
Well,
seen a lot.
Triple in my book means like my age.
Nah, man, you 3 generations over now. We got, me, then you got, AK and Illy and them, and then we got our hoop stars. 3 generations. Triple OG. That's a blessing. We talked about it last time. You're aging gracefully, man.
Shut up.
BTG Nation. You see, I'm back with Oscar the Grouch over here. We're here, episode 14. Oh, man. This week, man, the start of this episode is crazy. All right. Before we jump in, let me not forget our thing, our home, our foundation, Hoop Mountain DXB. As you guys know, being the OG, we are leading our own basketball brand development, growing the basketball culture in Dubai. And we have our situation called Hoop Mountain DXB. Hoop Mountain Dubai, hoopmountain.ae online. Instagram, you see it right there. So check us out if you're in town. Follow us on Instagram. We got some cool stuff going. Lock in with us. This week is camp week. That means, we got just more of the fun stuff than just the basketball things. We had our one. Today was a good day. Today was a moment. California ball always brings out a moment, whether it's me getting hit at the last minute or me jumping in and saving the day today.
Or you cheating.
How I cheat, man?
I'm just saying the fact that the kids played the game 80% without you, and all of a sudden you want to jump in at the end?
No, listen, man. I asked them, coach, first of all, coach he did a terrible job picking teams. It was like 4 16-year-olds on one team, all of them big, strong kick, and then the other team got like 11 and 12-year-olds. But I said to them, I told a couple of the older guys, I said, hey, I bet you if I play, we come back and win. And the one kid, Will said, do not bait him. Will said, don't say nothing back. So, Sahej and Omar, the older kid, they want to poke the chest out. They said, Coach, if you play, we're going to kick you guys' butt. I said, you sure? He said, yeah. I said, all right, here we go.
You're misreading this whole thing.
How?
The team that you jumped on had more talent spread out.
All right.
Top to bottom, they got to step up.
What was the score?
You're not helping them.
What was the score when for the game?
It was 6-0. They got to step up.
6-0.
They got to step up.
Smacked, man.
They got to step up. That's the problem. So you're no different than some of the other people that we talk about every night in terms of like enabling people to have crutches.
Wrong. See, that's the way you see it. Because what you did, right? Because you jumped in and played too.
Because I saw you were playing.
Nah, listen. We came back. We tied it up 7-7. And like I tell them, they always say, well, you wouldn't have won without coach. I only scored one time. We scored 7.
Come on, man. Your presence.
Exactly. That's what the coach does. A good leader does. You come in and instill confidence.
No, you're supposed to let them play and officiate the game.
No. You gotta give them some problem solving techniques. You gotta help them figure out. Help them galvanize and come together. So it's long story short, we came back and won, even with the old guy joining in late. Didn't happen. To be honest, the older kids, they're the ones that didn't come through. All you had to do is get the one base. But as you guys see, this is some joy that we have. It's fun when we get to play around and do some of the games that we grew up with, and that we play back at home. Because we're starting to really learn that the kids here do not have the opportunity to really be kids the way they think they do.
I think a better way of putting it, they don't have a wide variety of games to play.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for you to be 14 years old
Yeah.
and not to know different variations of kickball,
Yeah.
it's criminal.
Yeah, man.
Criminal.
The PE teachers are failing them. But, that's probably the best part of the day, right?
Right.
But, man, sometimes I get on here and I'm like, what the hell are we going to talk about today? Just because our brain might be scrambled. But, man, the beauty of it is we can talk about whatever we want. Yo, I was pissed off today.
Why?
Man, so you got to have your monthly maintenance at the apartment, right?
Yeah.
They got to do their thing, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? You rent, so the owners got to do their thing. So they sent out an email saying that we're going to be doing some water tank cleaning, right? So the water will be off from 8:30 onward, right? So you thinking, all right, most people got to work, right? So 8:30, okay, good time.
A.M.
8:30 a.m., right? And so you're thinking, all right, I'm going to be out. Everybody's going to be out working from 8:30 to 5 p.m., maybe 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m. a little bit later, right? So you're thinking between 8:30 and 7 p.m., they can do all they got to do to get my water back on. I come home, take a nap, wake up. Why you say, hey, the water's not on? I'm like, what? I go outside, we leave the pod a little later. I call you. You're like, man, what? I'm mad as hell. Yeah. I'm like, I'm still in my camp gear. I got to put a hat on because I couldn't hit the showers that I want to. Good thing I didn't sweat crazy. I'd be pissed off.
Well, let me be straight up honest with everybody. I'm in different clothes from camp, but I'm funky like a monkey. Like, if I ain't have a chance to shower, thank God for Manscaped.
Word,
Man's saving me right now.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Your wife would be talking about me like, yo, coach you need to have a conversation.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Like how is that type of incompetence, right? And that's when we learn, like we talked about it in podcast episodes before, common sense not so common. Right. On the outside, things look so pretty, but on the inside, like structurally, like why would you clean the water tank on a Tuesday, right? And you go until, they said the water won't be on until 11 p.m., maybe midnight. Like, make me want, and then, sometimes people displace their anger and get mad at security or other stuff. It ain't their fault.
They don't deserve it, yeah.
Yeah, they just the ones that got to take the heat on the front end and management back there making it happen. Yeah. But that's how we ended our day and walked into. That's the energy we on today. So who knows what we might say this episode. But other than that, how you feeling?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm good. We're basically heading into hump day because we're on a Monday through Friday work week, which is something that we're used to. So Wednesday's a hump day for us. So we get through tomorrow. The rest of everything else is downhill.
Yeah. That's a blessing. All right, so let's jump right into it. Right. The NBA has been active, and we've been talking about trades and possibilities and things for like 3 or 4 months, right? And so now things are official. Harden is a 76er. Ben Simmons, Steph Curry, and Andre Drummond and some draft picks are in Brooklyn. I don't know. What you got? What you think? What do you think of the situation?
Both teams got better for the immediate time. The Nets got better for the long haul, for the next 2-3 years for sure, to make a run at it. The Sixers, they did get better, but if they don't win it this year, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, because I don't think their chances get better next year.
All for nothing.
Yeah.
All for nothing. Because people are going to, the community itself in Philadelphia and the surrounding states are going to say, we got Harden, but if we don't win a championship, was it worth it? Because we gave away 2 first round picks, even though they will be late picks, but still they're 2 first round picks. And we gave away shooting. And we gave away a young star in Ben Simmons that's going to be good for the next 6 or 7 years.
6 or 7. And Harden is 32.
Harden's 32, a lot of mileage on him. And he has not responded well to criticism in the past. And we all know that him and Doc Rivers have a lot of heat on them right now.
Man, a lot. So let's talk about how we even get to that point, because now we're all wondering, like, Harden just forced his way to Brooklyn like a year or two ago.
Right.
Like, he just got there, and now he's forcing his way out. Like, what is it? Most people are going to say, oh, it's because, Kyrie ain't playing. But if you've been watching, at the beginning of the season, Harden was terrible, out of shape. People were like, he's a shell of himself, and KD was carrying that squad. So now reports come out of, have you seen them?
No.
So reports came out, right? So several things. One of the most important things that I think is there was a kind of rejection to the culture that KD wanted to build. KD wanted to play basketball that was more free-flowing, moving the ball, kind of hard to guard, where Harden wanted to play ISO. It's KD's squad, so Nash and everybody's going to go with what KD wants to go.
And rightfully so.
Rightfully so. And to think about it, though, like, people talk about KD going to Golden State, and everybody will go to the record, 70 to whatever. But I think one of the main things is when you get to a place where you're 10 years in, or it's like how we look at open gym, and we're not just going to play with just anybody because it's bad basketball. After seeing, think about the two people that need the ball the most in the league. You think about Russ and you think about Harden.
Yep.
Who had to play with them?
Yep. Okay.
Right? Think about how tough that might have been. So now he goes to Golden State because they have an offense to where it's hard to guard. You're playing basketball to what you love. And now you know that system. You know that works. So when you come back to Brooklyn and you with Steve Nash, who is a guy who understands spacing and everything, and you're like, look, I know what works. This is where we're going to play. Right? And now you have Harden, who's trying to combat that again, because he did that also with Dwight, because I forgot he played with Dwight too. He did that with CP3. And now you got a proven guy who's already won 2 times, and you don't want to, kind of follow the lead there. Some prima donna shit.
Yeah. By him going to Brooklyn anyway, you should have already known what you were getting into. That's the thing, and I know people will probably, go against me when I say this, but in the league, in any professional sport, why wouldn't you just go there and play your best and then request a trade? Because all you're doing now is, if there were 10 teams that were interested in you, now there's only 4 teams interested in you because they don't want to deal with your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't you go to Brooklyn, be in shape, ready to go, and so that if things don't work out, you can say, it wasn't me. I did what I was supposed to do. I've been doing what I've been doing that's making me a, all-star every year. But instead, like you said, he was out of shape, disengaged.
No effort.
And, and so no effort, and not willing to buy in, which, we all thought about, the chemistry aspect of it, the timing of it, and the lack of depth that they had, right? Mm-hmm. But we said, you know what? You got those 3 guys together.
Mm-hmm.
Could be 3 of the best pairings ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Easily.
But instead, we have a disaster here.
Yeah. And it's kind of like sickening almost to a point. Like, when you look at Harden and what he was doing, like, you saw the highlight of when they were playing Detroit and the ball rolled to the back of the court and he just kind of jogged lightly to go get it and let the dude dunk. Like, you still playing basketball though. You know what I'm saying? Like, what inside you, like, this is when you start calling somebody out their name. You know what I'm saying? Like, what inside you that makes you feel like, all right, I don't want to be here no more. I'm just going to stink it up on purpose.
Yeah. I'll say it. And you guys jump on me all the time for saying this stuff. Guys make too much money. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They make too much money, because if he were playing an open gym with us and that happened and you knew that he wasn't injured and he wasn't super old, you're going to say something to him. Yo, we need that. Games to 7 2s and 1s. We need to get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what's the difference now?
Right.
There's no excuse when you're making $40+ million a year.
I think also that pushes to something personal. Last week we talked about who raised y'all, right? That was the name of the podcast. But like, you starting to see patterns of character, right? They're a bit beyond just the money, because then it are people who get paid some bread and they show up all the time just because they like, it's my name. It's my name. It's going to be etched in history. This is what I'm going to be known for. And this is how you carry it out. Like, it could have been Jimmy Butler forced his way out of Minnesota, but he did it playing. He did it playing and letting them know, like, I'm about this. Y'all aren't about it, so y'all got to get me out of here, right? But I'm going to still show up. And then the next thing, I get people talking about he showed up because he thought it was going to be him and KD. It's going to be him, KD, and Kyrie, right? Kyrie got to deal with whatever he's dealing with the vaccine stuff. Cool. You still got your issues. But then we hear, I don't know if it's true or not, but after hearing about it, I think it makes sense. Kyrie, and since Kyrie came back, him and Harden, they play one-on-one often. And you guys know in basketball, a lot of times, like, I shout out to Blue. I used to play Blue one-on-one after every practice my junior year, right? No matter what, especially the day before a game, right? Because, you know, whatever the scouting report was, he was getting me ready for it. So Harden and Kyrie were playing one-on-one. You know, everybody knows Kyrie's been half term. And they say Kyrie's been cooking them. And they said after one particular game, Kyrie called him washed and old, and it got into a mini physical altercation. And then, you know, that became an issue, right? So, of course, the relationship becomes damaged. And then to add insult to injury, they say that Harden was having an issue with the way Steve Nash was challenging him in film, but he said he didn't say enough to Kyrie to his liking. You don't play hard. You already come in with a defensive deficiency, right? You've already got a reputation of quitting on your team, right? Now you're getting challenged and you're running away from it. And then you force your way out. And quiet as kept, people talk about this 10-game losing streak. That's sabotage.
Yeah.
Knowing he going to get out of there, 10, 11 game limit. He killed that locker room morale on purpose.
Right. The film session thing is funny because, one, Kyrie's only playing half the time. So, of course, you know, his deficiencies aren't going to be on display as much as yours because you're there the entire time and KD's out. So you're the guy. You know, the next thing is like, why shouldn't Nash challenge you when you're out of shape? He's supposed to. I mean, you're not even supposed to come in. You're not even supposed to arrive out of shape when you're making that kind of money.
And think about the reason why he's still out of shape is because he purposely did it before he left Houston. And what did that do? Cause injury.
And
a hamstring injury that's still bothering him because he's not going to play until after the All-Star break. Shout out to Jared Allen, who's going to be taking his place for that. But like I lost a lot of respect for James Harden. Right.
And Kyrie's proven. I mean, don't get me wrong. We know Kyrie takes lapses in defense. We know that you know, on defense. We know that Kyrie's dealing with the vaccine issue. But we've seen Kyrie in big spots.
Yes.
And there's no bigger stage than the finals. And 3-4 games in a row with LeBron, him averaging almost 30.
Yes.
And then playing great D on Steph.
And if he hadn't got hurt in the first finals.
Yeah.
Right? And again, we're not saying that Kyrie can lead his own team. Yep. Right? There's not many people or many players 6 foot and under that can lead their own team. Yeah. There's only a handful of Isaiah Thomas and talking about Zeke, Detroit pitcher, and Allen Iverson.
Right. And those are guys like Iverson fell short.
Yes.
Because Iverson, much like Kyrie, there are 2 guards trapped in point guard's body. Zeke is a straight up point guard. So he knows how to push everybody's buttons the right way to get them to perform.
Right.
But Kyrie is A+ sidekick.
Yes.
And
perfect.
He showed it.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, James Harden has had his moments with when they were young with OKC and there was no pressure on him and he didn't play well then, if you think about it, in the finals. And then he had a chance with CP3 and then didn't show up then. So, you know, and I know people have bad games because one of my favorite players in the league right now is LeBron James. He's had bad games in playoffs in the finals. Everybody, Larry Bird, Magic, everybody has had those.
Kobe.
But the one thing we can say is that when it was all said and done, they didn't disrespect their team, disassociate themselves with their team, and they weren't caught in the strip club hours after the game as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Man, the Lakers lost by 40 in the finals to the Celtics. right? And then came back and got it. Like, Kobe had to wear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think Kobe could have easily went and been like, look, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gone. But again, after the money comes and goes, you are going to be in history. And when we talk about Wilt, we never talk about how much money he made. Just when we have to talk about how ungrateful this new generation is, right?
Right.
But when we talk about players, we talk about what you did on the court and then what you did off of the court, whether it was good or bad. So, I mean, Harden went out like a chump to me.
Yeah.
Right. And I see Kendrick Perkins and say everybody talking about, hey, this your window to get this and get that. But, quiet is kept. When the shit hits the fan and it's time for you to get a stop, because it's guard heavy, right? And that East, you're gonna have to get some stops up top, right? Harden, he's not used to, you can't just turn that switch on. Right? If you guys are real hoopers and you really play the game and you've really been in those moments, you can't just turn it in after 15 years, 30, however old you are, because you probably never play defense. It's not just going to happen when you at the highest level and you're playing against the best of the best on the wing and you got to get that last stop. Yeah. That got to be embedded in you, right? That's how you win.
Overall, when you think about it, Harden has always played with great perimeter players.
Mm-hmm.
He's never played with a really, really good post player.
Yeah.
So his game's got to change somewhat now, because now it's not where, if you're two perimeter players that can get a bucket,
mm-hmm.
it's, drive and kick,
mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Kick
pick and roll and things like that. But post now with Embiid, it's like pick and roll. And, Harden's not really a pick and roll guy. Okay. So now it's like, I bring it down to a side, 2-man game.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to that, because people who are casuals would be like, what are you talking about? He scores off the pick and roll and then you see him throwing the lobs up and everything. Because I do think he's one of the better pick and roll guys up there, but he had to learn that because the ball was in his hand so much.
Well, the reason he looks good on the pick and roll, just say he had Clint Capella, right?
Mm-hmm.
His number one objective coming off the screen then was to score.
Mm-hmm.
And Clint Capella was the guy, the recipient of, him passing off the double.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Embiid, you run a pick and roll with Embiid. Your objective is to come off and create the passing angle for Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's completely different. So we got to see if he can score in a secondary role as opposed to being the first option.
Yeah.
Because those assists that he had, don't get me wrong, I think Harden's a pretty good passer, but is he a willing passer to initiate the offense?
Yeah.
That's where things going to change.
And by far, okay, and he may not have wanted to concede on the Nets, but by far the best player on the team, and maybe even the best player in the league right now, is Embiid.
So no question.
Not only do you not just going to, you talk about when the reports came that he didn't want to pass the ball around, he just want to play ISO. With Embiid, you got to give him the ball where he wants it.
Yeah.
So if he wants it on the block and he doesn't feel like doing no pick and roll, and Doc tells you, all right, we got to run this for him, you better give him the ball.
Exactly.
Right? Over dribbling. You better give him and space out on the weak side if he got to throw a skip to you or find your way in between. So you got to figure it out, because that's number 1 and 2 options for real.
Yeah,
because there's nobody better.
Right? Is he going to come down, dribble to a side, like I was saying, dump it down, cut hard? You know what I'm saying? And then space out.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's going to do that.
Because he got into an argument in the huddle with CP3 when CP3 was telling him you got to get off the ball sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? So now you definitely got to get off the ball. Yeah. Right? Maybe not all the time, but you got to get off enough.
Yeah. And he will be more of a spot shooter too.
Yeah.
In certain situations. So that will be interesting. And let me say this, more so than the situation in Houston with CP3, more so than the situation in OKC with Russ and KD and what's the big fella?
Clint.
The center that they had in OKC.
Oh, Steven Adams.
They had a mob.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they were all young.
Yeah.
More so than ever, the pressure's on to win it this year.
Man.
Houston did not go Philly did not go all in to bring you in to think about next year. The process is this year.
Absolutely.
So, he ain't never had those Philly fans behind him. And you know what I mean by those Philly fans.
Listen, and he's going to be outside, so they're going to see him.
Yeah.
They're going to see him.
He better change that.
Yeah, COVID might have the situations a little different, but they look like they outside.
Man,
Listen, well, we're gonna see. So, what do you have as the trade expectations and how it fits? Like, and you can add couple it together with do we believe in Nash, and what does this mean with Doc Rivers? Right, put those two together. Like, what's the expectations, and then do we believe in the coaches?
I honestly think with Nash right now, the expectations have lowered because everybody knows they need time.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea what type of physical and mental state Ben Simmons is in, and everybody needs to, have time to build their chemistry. So Nash has extra time now. Doc Rivers, not so much.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers being one of the top 15 coaches of all time, and having won a championship, having had high caliber teams before.
And the issues that he had with Clippers when he left, when they were talking about he couldn't control the locker room, we'll give it, a good leadership though.
Right. So right now the expectations on Doc, if he doesn't get it done this year, not in my mind, but in a lot of people's mind, his coaching career will be tainted.
Yeah, just like we talked about the KD stuff, the media things.
Yep.
And, to be honest, you got to get something done soon, Doc.
Yeah,
it's been about 15 years since you won.
This is for players, this is for coaches, whoever. Once you start making multi-millions, it's fair game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting. We don't know. There's only 30 games left in the season, maybe less than that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can mesh together in Brooklyn. But I like it for BK in the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
I like Embiid a lot, so I would love to see him win a ring. I would love to see that happen. So I think in the long run, the Nets win it. There's a lot of work that got to be done mentally and in-house as far as getting everybody to actually be able to play. But if it happens, then I think not only is that going to be great for KD's legacy, right? But I think it's going to be a good recharge for Ben Simmons because he could be pretty solid going into the next generation.
Right.
Now, quickly, because I don't want to make this another. I don't want to talk too much about the Lakers today, because I'm sure people are talking about it. But if I could show the text message, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my bro, and I was telling my bro, I was like, look, it's my best friend. I could probably call James now, and let me see if he answers. He probably ain't going to answer.
James or Jameson?
James.
Okay.
I think I told Jameson this too, though. And I was like, look, we gotta, he might be at work. Who knows what time it is? We'll see. So I told him, I was like, look, we should trade AD. And this was before Stephen A. Smith, right? He might not answer because it's going to be looking like
hello.
Yo, BG. Yo. What's up? We live on air for the Bridgin the Gap podcast. Don't say anything that's going to get us in trouble. Look,
don't say anything that's going to get you in trouble.
Yeah. It's going crazy. So look, I was we going through stuff and we just talking about lightly because I don't want it to be a Laker podcast today. But Stephen A. came out.
Let's make it a Lakers podcast.
No, not today because we got some pressing issues. We're gonna ask you some questions about the Brooklyn and Sixers stuff though. But I got on here and I don't want people to think I'm capping and I'm just making stuff up, right? Because Stephen A. just talked about trading AD, right? And I was about to get into the segment on that, and I was telling OG that 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was in the group chat saying, "Yo, we got to trade AD," and I just want you so y'all can vouch that's what up.
Yeah, it's been about a month. You've been, saying trade AD, so I give you that one.
Right. And no, this was not a planned call. He had no idea I was calling. You know what I'm saying?
All right, but James, let me ask you this. If knowing that LeBron is in his final days, if you trade AD, what are you getting for him? Are you getting something for the future or are you getting something for right now?
Listen, that was my exact question to Yates. I just admitted that Yates, he said that he wanted to trade AD. I didn't agree with trading AD because that was my same exact question. I don't know what. I don't know what you getting in I don't know who you're going to get in return to continue on, unless it's another player who's ready to lead their situation, another superstar who's ready to lead their situation.
Mm-hmm. See, this is my reasoning, right? How many more years y'all think Bron got left to play?
perimeter-wise,
Two, maybe 3.
perimeter-wise, 2.
Right.
But if he decides to transition to a post player and pass out the post, he could play a number 4.
But either one of those, he doesn't want to be the main load, carrying the main load. Correct? Right? And so what that means is that going into the next 6 to 7 years, we need a cornerstone, a stud to carry, right? And now what I'm saying is right now our AD is 27. Right? He still has a lot of trade value going forward. And what we know is if LeBron retires and AD is our best player on the team, we just turn into the Pelicans. Name one time where AD has been the front runner of cornerstone of a franchise, and that franchise has been competitive and good. And I'm saying this in comparison to the Joker, Embiid, and Giannis, all those who are in his class, who he's top 75 all time. And I'm saying that if we don't have LeBron, I don't feel comfortable following behind Anthony Davis for the next 5 to 7 years because he's proven he won't be available and he doesn't play hard.
But one problem you have right now is that, the old saying, you made your bed, then you got to lay in it.
Yeah.
Everybody else around the league knows that about AD as well. So no one's gonna mortgage their future to get him right now and give you guys their future. So Lakers got to deal with it.
Listen, I know a few organizations.
I agree. That was kind of my main point. I agree with you.
I don't know. You see the dumb trades that the Pacers and the Kings just did, and like I'm saying, if I'm saying trade AD, I'm saying trade and leverage for the future. So we'll probably need a new coaching staff and everything. 2 years.
So you saying trade AD and get like a whole bunch of like role players?
Not role players, but I want to leverage for the future, right? There's some young guys out there that we can build around and to just look at what will be coming in the next years of the draft, right? To rebuild, because we don't have anything in draft picks. I think we need a new coaching staff and a new culture change, because what do you do after LeBron leaves?
Right.
Like, how do you bounce back from that, right? You do what Cleveland does.
Y'all gonna look like Cleveland.
Yeah, but you need to
Miami after he left Miami.
Right, but all of them had great organizations, and they all rebuilt perfectly, right, around good young people, and they had to leverage some things. So I'm saying AD right now, if we go into the next 2 or 3 years with him in the cornerstone, we won't be successful.
Well, let's not give Cleveland so much credit. They didn't rebuild. They got lucky in the draft.
Well, come on, man. Give them a little credit. They made some draft picks.
Their organization is terrible.
It's terrible.
Come on, man.
It's terrible. But we'll get back to that. But I'm saying I was on the trading AD thing before Stephen A. And it's just clearly because he's not who everybody says he is. He's top 570. He's the only top 75 player that won't be playing an All-Star game that could. He'll be watching it from the side. And Dame won't be playing because he hasn't played all year. But AD going to be getting the top 75 honor sitting on the sideline. And he's not better than what Dwight was to the league. And there are countless other ones. So
all right, I'm going to ask both of you guys this question. You're upper management for the Lakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just say the LeBron AD combo has been together for 5 years. And for those 5 years, you guys compete for a championship 2 of those 5 years and potentially win it for those 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Is it worth not taking that chance to trade him now? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, we all know that AD has his moments where he's injured or he's a little soft. But then there's also a moment where, like, he makes the difference in the league in terms of whether or not you have the chance of winning it. So you're upper management, and you got the owner on the phone on the left hand, and you got your coach on the phone on the right hand. You're like, I might as well take a chance and just stay with him.
I'll let BG go first. What you thinking?
I'm taking the chance and staying with it. I know you all for trading AD. Like I said, you've been saying that for a month, but I'm sticking with him at least for a little bit.
Yeah, let me be specific. I'm trading him within 2 years. Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it right now, but before he hits 30 for sure. Right, and again, not only do we need to trade AD, we need a new coaching staff, and we need Kurt Rambis and his wife out of there. That's a big thing. You talk about management, that's what it is. Because in management ways, right, James Jones, the new cat over there in Cleveland, they've been looking 4 or 5 years ahead. right? We talking about how to change culture and build some stuff. I know for sure AD there's too many ifs. There's too many ifs. Does he show up every day and work hard like Giannis and Joker and Embiid, right? No, and that's the people that he's in the class with. Can I count on him for sure that no matter what, he's gonna give me energy? I got up at 5:30 and watched us play against the Warriors. Game we should have won. Man, 13 points. He has too many games where he shoots 10 shots and then he just floats. He just floats around the court. Top 75 all time.
Let me ask you this though, and you're absolutely right about him floating sometimes. But let me ask you this. You mentioned James Jones of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned the person in Cleveland. Right?
Yeah, and a couple other places too.
Those are organizations where their owner makes it clear.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to be competitive every few years.
Yes.
Because we understand we're a small market.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers, you're a lifetime Lakers fan.
Championship or nothing.
Okay? I was watching them when you were in diapers and those guys were winning. Listen,
damn, you that old?
Shut up. It's championship or nothing.
Yeah.
So they
no, facts.
I'm not saying Kurt Rambis and those guys don't need to get out, because they do, because they've made some mistakes, some colossal mistakes in the past. But you gotta win now.
Right.
Lakers they ain't trying to rebuild. You see how quickly.
Right. But what I'm saying is AD before 30 is the type of piece that can get you some high value pieces so you don't have to rebuild completely. Right. But I'm saying you got to start mapping those things out. Right.
But I disagree with you only in the fact that we know there's teams out there that would do dumb trades. We know that. But they're not giving up anything that's going to make a difference for the Lakers in the next 2-3. They're just not.
We'll see.
You can make a deal with the Wizards, right? In 2 years. Who the Wizards going to have?
Well, not
me and you.
Yeah. Well, we could do a couple things, but I'm saying it's something that needs to be leveraged and put in place, right? Because if AD is leading a Laker organization, do we win a championship? And he's supposed to be a generational talent. No. Yes or no?
Yeah, we already know.
No. So I'm saying you know that for sure. Right? You know how the backroom stuff is. We got to make some things happen.
But what I'm saying is this. If AD's still on the team, right, and they just say he win another one before LeBron retires or whatever, right? If AD's on the team, you can get other star players to come play with him.
Yes.
You're not getting them to come play with Fred, what's my man name from the shooter from Oklahoma that everybody wanted? Buddy Hield. Ain't nobody going to play with him.
But this is what I'm saying, though. LeBron is what is the superpower for AD. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. We're going to miss LeBron when he gone.
I know, man.
Other people want to play. So look, this how it's going to look. So if I just got Russ and AD on paper, I should be able to compete for a championship. But hell no.
On paper. But first of all, Russ is going to be gone.
Yeah.
At some point after this year.
Russ is gone.
Because he don't want.
Russ is gone.
Because
he going back to OKC.
Russ doesn't want to.
That's the only place that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to change his game.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to change the game, you got to go. Sorry, partner. Everybody in the history of the game has changed the game or retired.
Right. True. All right. So we got a couple of things for you before we let you go and we go to the next space, right? Who are your favorites to win it all now? After the trade deadline, let's say who you got going to the finals and who you got winning it all.
I'm gonna rock with Brooklyn, man.
For real?
I'm gonna go ahead and rock with Brooklyn. Yeah, I am. KD, my guy from the area. My favorite player right now. I'm going with them. I think him and Kyrie, hopefully they can get that situation squared away, whether it's him getting vaccinated. What?
Are you at work? Or are you at the club?
No.
He about to ask me if you drunk.
Are you drunk? You ain't, listen, man.
Nah, man.
You know Kyrie can only play in the road games, right?
No, you didn't let me finish. I was about to say if they get that situation squared away, whether
it ain't no ifs, ands. Listen, man, there ain't no ifs, ands, buts about this. Yates asked you, who's your favorite to win it? And you said Brooklyn.
Yeah,
so that means
Brooklyn. All right, let me put it like this: Brooklyn, if Kyrie.
No ifs.
Oh, come on, man.
You can't go to FanDuel with
who you gonna put your next check?
We can't do an if. This a different type situation right here. Y'all, I can't get one.
No, because it's been like 4 months. Kyrie just been all going. We don't got no clue what's going on. But like, who you gonna rock with? You don't even have to pick a winner. Just say who the two teams are in the finals.
All right. So if I can't get my F because y'all hating on that, I'm going. I think. To be honest, I think Milwaukee has a good chance of really getting back if everybody stays healthy and all that. And out of the West, I honestly don't know. I'm not really sold. I know a lot of people saying the Warriors, but I'm not really sold on them making it back. I'm not really sold on.
That's another conversation.
That West tricky. I really can't call it.
So go out for the whim. Pick the Young Bucks there.
The Young Bucks too.
In Memphis.
No.
We don't got enough.
All of them playing amazing, but they not making it to the final.
So basically, with your hesitation, this is what you're thinking, and knowing that you're a Lakers fan, No,
he's not a Lakers fan.
Okay,
I'm not a Lakers fan. Yeah.
Okay, you know
he's
that
a Wizards fan.
What? Turn him off. First of all, you ain't authorized to be on this call. You ain't. Come on, man.
Yeah, I had to say that out loud. Yeah, you had to say that out loud.
Nah, look, King, who you picking though? So who you two?
I'm going with Milwaukee because I just don't believe in Harden just yet.
Yeah.
I think that Milwaukee will beat the Sixers. All right, and then in the West, of course, Phoenix looks good. If it were Phoenix and Golden State in the Western Conference Finals, I would pick Phoenix. I think they can beat them. But in the back of my mind, I still believe that the Lakers can make a run at it. I do. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Lakers in Milwaukee.
Yeah. And
talking about drunk.
Yeah. It's crazy for me too, because I still feel like we can win it all, right? And in my heart, I'm always going to go for that. But I really think it's going to be part 2, Phoenix and Milwaukee.
Yeah. Okay,
maybe. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about continuity, and then both of them having championship chops and knowing how to get there. And, they all both made additions. That's another thing.
Right.
Getting Ibaka right now.
For me,
man.
I like what you guys are saying, but Phoenix now has expectations.
Yeah.
They went last year, there were no expectations.
But the problem is they're 41-10 and nobody's saying a thing about it. Like, they got expectations.
We're saying something.
Yeah, but like the media don't talk about it. I don't know if they're like, because the media day there is not the same. I don't think they're feeling it that way.
I think
they probably still got a chip on their shoulder.
I think a lot of it is that they're having internal issues with upper management and they're trying to keep that quiet.
Yeah.
Remember, that's part of the ownership.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at the Lakers playing Golden State the other day, and the Lakers didn't play great and still were in the game with the Warriors. And the Warriors, even though they have won multiple championships in the past and everybody's back, they still go at LeBron as if they fear him. Mm-hmm. They don't play around that game.
Yeah.
And so that's why I said, you know what? In a 7-game series, Lakers could get them up out of there.
The only problem is I'm about to curse. Man, anyway, we'll see. But BG, before we let you off, right, we was having a little debate on here, right? For our peoples here in Dubai, best donuts. Where do you go for when you want to get the best donuts?
Well, I'm trying to eat healthy and get some.
Let me ask you all that, man.
But on my cheat days, if y'all must know, it's Krispy Kreme, no question. Look, Krispy Kreme, throw it in the microwave for a few seconds. Can't go wrong.
Krispy Kreme. Do you ever go to Dunkin' Donuts for donuts?
Nah. I may get some coffee or something, but nah, I don't ever get no donuts.
No, all he do is Krispy Kreme. All right, you'll see why we said that. Yeah.
Hey, you safe now.
Yeah. You'll see why we said that when we drop. But appreciate you, bro. I probably got you off the work schedule. I know it's cold back at the crib. Tell Mom Dukes and everybody.
Man, you good.
Yeah, tell Mom Dukes and everybody I said hello.
Hey, man, pick a new team, bro.
He loyal. We've been telling him to pick a new team since 2012.
Yeah, I'm about to start filling out fan applications. So.
Hey, man, it's cool. All right, bro. I'll holler at you, bro.
All right, man. I'll holler at you.
Right. All right. So that was good. That was good. But that just leads us into the basketball talk was heavy, right? We got a good amount of time left.
Sorry, I'm still not sure.
But that's Siri. My bad, Siri. I didn't mean to do that. But that was good. Well, first of all, shout out to Tyreke Evans getting back into the league after a 2-year substance abuse ban.
Now, with that ban, is he not allowed to play EuroLeague basketball and things like that either?
I'm not sure, but he can be signed as of Friday in the league. And I've seen some videos of him working out, So I hope whatever he was dealing with that had him on those drugs got him together and that he's back in here playing. That'll be good. And so let me play something for you guys so you guys will know what energy we're going into for the next part of the pod. This was something that it kind of...
Do it. I can't talk basketball with old heads anymore. It's the most frustrating conversation I think I could ever have. I swear, I think like the older generation of people that like hate on this new generation of basketball, like just don't think players evolve and like skill evolves. Imagine you put LeBron James in the 80s. He's lowering his shoulder and averaging 145 points a game. Imagine putting Steph Curry on a court in the 70s and the 80s. They would think he was performing witchcraft. And the main thing they always say is like, oh, these new players are so soft, they couldn't handle the physicality back in the 80s and the 90s. Hey, just because they were punching people on the way to get a layup doesn't mean they were more physical. You are performing a felony. You think a 6'9", 250-pound LeBron couldn't maul anybody in the 80s and 90s? Just imagine like Dwight Howard clotheslining somebody on the way to the rim. Does that make him one of the best basketball
players? Man, turn that fake
Klay
Thompson off, man.
Look, so this is two things, right? What that clip just is, there's a young buck that sent that to us. There's actually Matham's son that sent that. He's a basketball kid. He loves it. Yeah. He's always trying to learn something. And this is where the social media stuff starts to like pisses me off, right? To where this is why we're doing a podcast, right? A guy like that got 200,000 followers. He got 6,000 whatever on his podcast stuff. And more power to you, kid. That's beautiful, right? But the danger is the information that you're spewing out when it comes to basketball. I haven't figured out the TikTok algorithms and the Instagram algorithms or started paying those big bucks to get us up so we can kind of filter out that nonsense. And we're not going to sacrifice anything and start doing dumb shit to get in front of places, right?
That is purely entertainment right there.
Right, but the problem with that is that's what goes in front of most of the kids' faces. That's what they hear most. That type of information, those type of videos go out. He talked about the older generation doesn't know basketball. He can't talk basketball with them because they don't understand things. And, a guy like that, he didn't mention anything about basketball, actually playing the game. Right. He talked about some personal stuff that were like buzzwords that was going to get it there. And this just gets me to the point to where, what the hell are y'all watching? Right. Do you really know what you're watching? And like, are you guys understanding how dangerous it is for you to be spewing out like nonsense like that?
My question is he or his audience, are they actually watching entire games?
I'm sure they aren't. I'm sure they don't even know what they're watching, to be honest. Right? You hear Draymond talk about it all the time, to where it's like the average fan doesn't get excited for a good defensive rotation because they don't know what the hell a good defensive rotation is, right? But those are the things that kids need to know when they're watching.
Because a lot of kids today think that Draymond's trash. Draymond's a Hall of Famer.
Man.
Draymond is the engine of Golden State. Of course, Steph and Klay are the guys who shoot the ball, and they're going to go down in history as some of the greatest shooters of all time. And the funny thing is, beyond the next 5 years, people outside of the realm of real basketball won't even mention Draymond's name.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be one of the top players of all time. In actuality, just because he has an impact on the game that the average basketball fan has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah. And one of the biggest things, because looking at that video, I get the reactions and stuff. So I'm talking to the young buck, and he was like, yo, what do you think about this? And I'm like, listen, some things are just clickbait.
Yep.
Right? The older generation obviously know basketball. right? But what we get now is glitz and glamour because there's cameras absolutely everywhere. And our phones are some of the best cameras ever made, right? And so social media makes things more visible. So he said, aren't players more athletic doing windmills over people now, and they're shooting 45-foot three-pointers?
Yeah.
So that right there gives you a lot, right?
Right. Just on that one comment right there, you look at guys doing windmill dunks and stuff now, it's in transition. It's on breakaways. You go back to a gentleman by the name of the Human highlight film when he was in college at the University of Georgia, and then he played for the Atlanta Hawks for many, many years. His name was Dominique Wilkins. Had one of the most iconic dunk contests against Michael Jordan ever in the NBA. Okay? He was doing windmill dunks in the half-court offense when the defense is set. He's doing windmill dunks, and we talk about his counterpart, Jordan, doing those types of creative dunks, not because they were trying to get a rise in terms of their social media prowess or showing off for the crowd. It's because they did these dunks because they had to. That was the reactionary move that they made according to the defense. And so
Sean Kemp.
That's nice. Listen, people talk about players being bigger, stronger, more athletic now. There's nobody in today's NBA game as big as Sean Kemp playing in that position, doing what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. Leading the break, you know what I'm saying? Taking people off the dribble and dunking with that kind of authority and creativity. There's just not.
And then a lot of them will be watching Charles right now and not understanding how great Charles was.
Right.
Or even early Shaq.
Right.
Oh. Shaq was light on his toes. Shaq was running the break.
It was something we had never seen before.
Never.
Yep.
It's athleticism. So what I told the young buck is like, when it comes to basketball, we're from America, right? The young buck is from Kuwait, so he doesn't see as much basketball as we do. So he thinks when he sees these videos or these clips of these people talking, oh man, of course it's better because there's nobody that's here. Chick Hearn is not here to tell you what he really saw.
Right.
Right. You guys don't even know who Chick Hearn is.
Right.
Right. But that lets you know the difference in things. But pictures and cameras, right? I told the young buck, I've been seeing people do windmills since I was 13 or 14.
Yep.
There's people around the way in the hood that can do that. Athleticism was always there. Always there. It's always been there. Just no cameras.
Yeah. I windmill dunked in high school. So what is that telling you right there?
Right.
And I didn't even get close to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you've never seen these things and you see them now, you're like, oh man, no, it's been around for years.
Yes.
Years, and the difference is, like you said, it's social media, a guy now in high school can score 50 points and everybody in the U.S. gets a chance to see it because it's social media. People were doing that on a regular clip back in the day, and you only knew about it because the local paper printed it. Maybe it was a televised game at the particular time, or you were that good and it spread word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
The visibility is just completely different.
Yep.
And then we talk about shooting long tray balls. Like, this is the thing. Shooting the three-pointer, right? Whether you shoot it close up to the line or back, it's still the same amount of points, right? And it doesn't dictate you, or it doesn't say you have more skill, right? You talk about there are only 3 people in the league that shoot the ball that far, right? And all 3 of them have to shoot it from that far.
Yep.
Right? That's Steph Curry, right? That's Trey.
Yep.
And that's Dame Lillard.
Yep.
Right? You can tell the people why all 3 of them got to shoot from that distance, right? But the people in the back of the day, with Isaiah Thomas or whatever else, there was no need to shoot a 45-foot three-pointer.
Right.
There was no need to do any of that. Right? Because you can get whatever you needed to get off because of your skill.
Right. So I'm going to talk about 2 parts of that. One is why those guys are shooting from so deep. One is because, when you're a smaller guard, you need to make sure you create space to get your shot off. And these guys, because they shoot the ball so well, of course, everybody wants to get the ball out of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're shooting, one of those 3 people shooting from 35 feet is a better option than passing to somebody that can't shoot. You want to make sure you just get a look at the basket. So those guys are shooting from that deep before the double team comes. Mm-hmm. So they have space and time to shoot. That's why they're shooting from that deep. They're not shooting from that deep just because they want to or they're trying to show out and make people look bad. They shoot because it's out of necessity, which is smart. But think about how many players are in the NBA, 400 plus players, I think. 3 people are doing that at a consistent high clip.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else should not be doing that unless it's something at the end of the clock, end of the quarter, end of the half.
Mm-hmm.
You think about Klay Thompson is one of the best shooters of all time, right? He doesn't do it.
Right.
He only does it when the shot clock's winding down because he knows that he's 6'7". He doesn't have to do that.
Exactly.
So it's a difference. So when you see all these young guys doing that stuff now that are not in the league, they're imitating something that they'll never be allowed to do because you can't shoot it at a high clip like these guys, and you have no understanding as to why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the second thing is people talk about being skilled. Okay, back in the day, defenses packed it in a little bit more. You know, they were playing man-to-man. There was no zone, okay? And you took a beating going to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But guys still valued getting closer to the basket than hoisting up a bunch of threes, okay? Because they were like, you know what? I'm going to score 20 tonight either by going to the cup, taking the open mid-range, or an open 3 when it's available, or I'm going to make 20 going to the line.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, and that's a skill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're able to get to the basket knowing that you're going to take a beating and then make somebody pay at the line, that's a skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sign of toughness, you know, and you think about it. Why are they attacking the basket? Well, if you can get somebody in foul trouble, that's a pretty good player, and you can play the bulk of the game against a secondary player, then that's a skill because now you have an easier access.
Mm-hmm.
You have easier access to the basket or to do whatever you need to do to facilitate the offense because you're playing against a role player.
Exactly. So if for you slow guys, drawing a foul is a skill.
It is
right?
a skill.
There is an art to that.
Yes.
And then we come back to what you're saying was they have to shoot that far, right? Because the players on the court with them are not as skilled.
Yep.
Right? You guys talk about jumping. Athleticism is not a skill.
No.
Right?
No.
That's not something that somebody can teach you, right? Height is not a skill. That's not something people can teach you. They say it all the time, I can't teach height, right? I can't teach a 42-inch vertical.
Nope.
That's something that you are born with, right? Because so if you see somebody jumping higher or whatever, that's not a skill. That does not make them more skilled, right? And then also the game has evolved to where it favors offensive players. So they don't necessarily have to be as skilled because you can get a contract for just being able to stand still in the corner and shoot a 3 and not even be able to play defense or make a decision with the ball in your hand, right? And so the second space that we get to is what is skill? Because I think that's something that people don't really sit and think about. Like, what does it mean to be skilled?
Right.
You know, it's not dribbling between your legs 3 times in a row, making a spin or whatever. Like, what is a skill?
A skill, in my opinion.
Let's give them examples too.
All right.
Yeah.
Is being able to do something consistently well, time and time again. When the moment gets tight, you have something that you can rely on that no one else can stop. That's a skill. We talk about one of the greatest scorers of all time. And I know that this rings a chord with you sometimes. Karl Malone. He had no moves back to the basket. But you know what? He was a skilled mid-range jump shooter off the pick and roll.
Right.
And it led to him being one of the top 3 scorers of all time in the NBA. Okay, that's a skill because he knew what his strengths and weaknesses were, and he stayed strong with his strengths at all times because he knew that, you know what? This is going to get me paid. This is what's going to keep me on the floor. This is what's going to help my team be successful. You talk about playmaking. Okay, of course, in today's NBA, there's a plethora of combo guards that can score the ball and facilitate, and then there's a lot of point guards that can facilitate and are pass first, score second. Okay. Now, we've had another era with that before in the NBA, And that's with, Kevin Johnson, Terrell Brandon, all those guys, Mighty Mouse, Kenny Anderson. There's a lot of guys like that. So with the guards, it's like being anywhere in the United States. You go to any park, there's a bunch of them, but are they going to be disciplined? Are they going to be skilled? They're going to be tough. So you can sort them out, but there's more of them. So we go through these eras in basketball where we have these guys, right? But do we have anybody today in a large number in the NBA where these guys absolutely know how to run an offense where they can get the ball to the other four guys on their team that are on the floor with them at that particular moment, the ball in their sweet spots where they can be successful? Can they defend their opposite position?
Right.
And can they be a threat on the court? The guys that can do that, John Morant, Chris Paul, those guys, know what they're called? They're called today's superstars.
Right.
But when you think about outside of the top 10, there's a significant drop off because now we have guys that either they go 100 miles per hour or they just don't have the ability to do these things.
Yeah.
So for you guys to say that the older guys don't know basketball, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because we have guys now that are making absurd contracts and don't even know what their real strengths and weaknesses are. And then we as fans get fed up with them and get upset with them in the playoffs when our team loses because we're like, you can't, Ben Simmons, you don't shoot the ball. He's what people call a superstar today. And he doesn't even know when and when not to take a shot.
Exactly. And just plainly, like the definition of skill is the ability to do something well or expertise, right? Yep. And then to just add on to what Coach was talking about. Now, basketball IQ is a skill.
Yep.
Right? Because you got to study the game. You got to study, recognize, and apply. Right? And that requires you to do things quickly, to be able to react fast and everything. And that allows the game to slow down so you can use those tools that you learned, right? And so your basketball IQ, Russell Westbrook, would make it easier for you to mesh and blend in and adjust your game, right?
And why? Because you're getting older and your athleticism is waning on you.
Right.
So now you got to start thinking the game and slowing down.
Because the skill never leaves.
Correct.
Never leaves. Right now.
Chris Paul.
Right, exactly. Right now, you can still play anywhere you want to play because you can shoot. You can shoot, you can handle, you can make great decisions, right? And maybe you don't want to run the wing as much, but you can go to the mid post and do it, right? You can do that. Those are things that aren't going to leave, right? And so you talk about, like, for you young guys, what can you do off 2 feet?
Yep.
Right? What does that mean, Coach? When you're driving and kicking to make a pass, are you doing it jumping in the air and committing into the pass, right? Or do you understand that you need to make that pass off 2 feet? Yep. Because if it's not there, I need to be able to use my pivot and my footwork, which is also a skill, to still be able to be effective in the game, right? Do I understand where to attack angles on the court? Right? Do I understand, all right, after I beat this first person, I got to be able to have a secondary move to beat the second, to either create for myself or create for my teammate, right? Am I understanding my mid-range game? Am I understanding how to get there? Do I know how to run off screens?
Yep.
Right? Can I play off the ball? Can I read? Cutting is a skill, right? Like catching and shooting, and then catching and shooting off on the move. Right? And then catching and shooting off a screen, right?
The problem people are having today is because they look at the real skilled guys as not being exciting. So that's when they say that, oh, he's not skilled. No, he's skilled.
And why is it not exciting? Because you don't understand the game.
Yep.
You're not excited about that fade and that drop off and then that slip to the screener because you don't understand what just happened there, right? Man, that ain't got nothing to do with older or younger generation. That's just you not understanding basketball.
Right. Knowing that somebody took hours and hours of their free time to work on this stuff.
Man.
When you're just a freak athletic specimen, you can do some of these things without thinking about it. But the thing is, how long can you do it?
And that's easy. That's the problem. It's easy to just worry about what your athleticism can do for you, right? Skill, that requires hours, right? It said expertise, the ability to do something well, and expertise. That comes with repetition. That comes with studying. That comes with failing and understanding how to go wrong. They don't always have that, right? And so when you talk about this being more skilled right now, you got to know what skill means in the first place. Right? You talk about you can drop Curry in this era to look like a wizard is playing. No, it won't. Right? He doing a lot of stuff because they changed rules so people don't bump him a little bit, so he can make it a little bit more entertaining for you casual fans. Right? It's more entertaining for casual fans. That's cool. But the basketball lovers, right?
And let me, I'll be honest, because people say, especially TJ, say we bash Curry a lot. Let me stick up for him right now. You could drop Curry back in any area. You know why? Because he can shoot the crap out of the ball. Which is a skill. You can't drop a lot of his counterparts back in different areas because they can't shoot the ball like Steph Curry.
Right. And you're not going to just get anything you want going to the basket.
And for people who have these hot takes or whatever, clickbait items or whatever, you can't use Steph Curry and LeBron. That's a terrible example.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are guys that we won't see ever again.
Mm-hmm.
That's just bottom line.
I'm glad you said that.
So stop using those guys.
I'm glad you said that. So that brings me to the point of like a Chris Jackson or Kevin Johnson or a John Stark or Sidney Moncrief or any of those guys, right? We're talking about those from the older generation. If they played in this era of basketball under these conditions, right? And with these type of players, those guys would go crazy.
Yep.
But if you take a guy like Bertans, Joe Harris, 90 Mills, right? Those guys from this younger generation, they're the ones that's going to struggle when it goes back to that, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that because, and we'll say, and we won't spend no more time on this crap.
Yeah.
You take this player right now and you put him back in what we call the golden era of basketball, late 80s to late 90s. You take Patty Mills, he can go back and play.
Yeah.
Because he's tough, high IQ, and he's skilled.
Yeah.
He can go play. But people wouldn't respect him right now because they don't understand how good Patty Mills is.
Of course. Now we'll get to the space where there are a couple other things that we're going to add to in probably next episode because that just sparked a whole bunch of other things. But you guys need to start watching the game a little bit differently, or please make a disclaimer. Right? We get, media out here making a lot of money. We would love to do some things with podcasting and make some money. And we know that certain things sell. But stop misleading and talking out of the side of your neck, right? Because it's false and it's bad. And basketball is at a point right now to where we got to save the essence of it. Just like everything else. It's like hip hop. It's like, filmmaking, everything. Everybody's trying to just get quick stuff popping, right? But no matter what's done well, what's done that takes time, the microwave dinner is never as good as the home cooked meal. Thanks, wife.
Or protein donut.
Protein donuts ain't the same as the Krispy Kreme.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That quick grab from the gas station ain't the same. So again, understand that, and we're gonna keep going on those things. But something that's been heavy on our heart as we close out, and we'll close out today with the post game wrap up. But that was just the game of basketball, man. It just needs so much right now, right? And then you see stuff going around like that, we just gotta filter it out because it's no good. But with that being said, kids, be careful. Where you're going, and where you're getting your information from. Coaches, we need you guys to be better.
Yeah.
And we'll just touch on it lightly, but we'll expand on it later. But coaches, we need you to be better, right? I don't like this stage where coaches are saying, and this is something I heard a lot back home, but coaches are saying, kids can't do this, kids can't do that. Keyword, kids, right? Kids, there's a reason why you say you were going to coach. Yeah. And so a lot of the shortcomings of our kids, of our athletes, right, are because of the leaders that are up front, because you're supposed to be better.
Yeah. It's if a kid can't do something and that kid has been under your supervision for, a year or two, then it's our fault. It's our fault because, we're supposed to make sure that kid has a certain set of skills, not 5 or 6, 7. We're supposed to 1 or 2 things that they can stick to when times get tough to help them, get through whatever situation they come across on the court. So it's our fault. We're supposed to take the time as coaches to get to know those kids and kind of monitor the type of basketball information they receive outside of our practice or our time together, film session, what have you. So it's all on us. We got to stop saying that this generation can't do this, can't do that, whatever. It's our fault because, we are the gatekeepers.
That's why we're bridging the gap, right? That also means that you need to work on your craft too. As much as you're telling that kid to get in the gym and work on his handle and everything, you need to learn new ways to teach stuff. You need to learn how the game is evolving, right? How things are changing, rules are changing, new things are allowed, and how they can take advantage of that so they can be well prepared. But like I said, we that got us going. That got us going. So we'll have some new things going in there. But you guys know, episode 14, we're gonna go ahead with the post-game wrap-up. OG, what you got?
I just want to say, for those out there, be who you are and not who people want you to be. I myself have been a victim of, in the past, wanting to be something that someone else wanted, but it really didn't sit well with me internally. And so over the years, I've grown into just, being myself. I get a lot of flack from you, from some of my peers, some, the kids that I coach, some of my past, players. Coach, you're always grumpy every day and, you're never happy. But they don't have an understanding that as long as I'm with, people around the game of basketball and I'm teaching, I'm happy. I just may not show it all the time. And I just expect so much from myself. I expect so much from people that are in a position like myself, to give back. And so, yeah, I am grumpy a lot of times. I just expect people to do what they're supposed to do each day. And so, I've learned to live with that now and not, worry about other people's perceptions. So I'm happy with that. So just be who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one we can take to the bank. All right. This is something that I picked up from a scholar, it's an Imam Omar Suleiman that I listened to. And he said something and it hit me immediately, right? And I wanted to share. If we only study history to admire people, then we're never going to be able to be a part of making history ourselves, right? And so we, as basketball players, we saw what MJ did, we saw what Magic did, and we were like, I'm going outside right now because I wanted to emulate that, right? But that doesn't need to stop at sports,
right,
or entertainment. Right. There are a lot of times where we hear about people who do things. We talk about our activists and everything else. Don't just stand on the sidelines. Everybody that's ever done anything, everybody that's ever made anything was a human that did that. Right? God's giving you the ability to do something. So step out there. You don't have to be the one just reading about the history. You're going to be the one making it. Right. And it may be small, it may be big, but don't stand on the sidelines. Get active, right? Because whatever change is going to come, it has to be us that creates that. And so go ahead and do that. Because as you studying history and you're admiring those people, remember they were just like you. Those same grumpy moments that we have, Malcolm had them. Everybody had them at some point, but they kept going with their thing. So get active. Get off the sidelines and go make something happen. So as always, you guys know how we do it. Bridging the Gap podcast, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the streaming platforms, YouTube. Like, subscribe, pass it on so we can filter out that nonsense that people are listening to. Use that Manscaped, 20% off, BTG Nation, and Hoop Mountain Dubai. If you're in the UAE, tap in with us. Let's get some bump. If you walk into the gym and you're playing with us, any coach in the UAE or former pro or current pro, you're probably going to get lit up. I'm just letting you guys know. We know we send a message with that, but we welcome you to come. So, as always, guys, keep it simple.
Player and coach, the
Keep it
brother,
real
the brother.
and keep
They both
going.
Got views that you need to discover. From sports, current events to just life talk. Whether you on a fast break or a nice walk, gotta tune in. You already know, G. This BTG Nation and you one of the homies. Just tune in. You already know, G. BTG Nation, the other ones in the nosebleeds.